Human is aspirational. Human is also, let's say, is selfish. You can say egotist, you can consider. So human has this tendency to gain power. So the question is that let's say ethical understanding. Ethical is that you should honor what internationally you have agreed. War is ethical only when there are some conditions, that is called just war theory will teach you this. Otherwise war is unethical. So bilateral relations between most nations are governed by policy of promoting one's own national interest without any regard for the interest of others. This leads to conflict and tension between nations. How can ethical consideration help resolve this? Discuss with specific examples. Now, so it may result into conflict, but how can, let's say, the ethical, ethical consideration help resolve such tension? Even you can say this, enclaves exchange with Bangladesh, Indo-Bangladesh, it happened peacefully. We gave 50, we gave 150 around, and they gave us 50. No, but let's say that it's tension. That is one of issue, let's say. Tension between two countries, let's say Ukraine and Russia. Right, Ukraine and Russia, why there is a conflict? This we have to show conflicts and tension. Any such country where we have conflicts and tension, that example we have to give. Abhi ongoing conflict and tension you can consider can be between Ukraine and Russia. Right. Why it is? Because solely based on national interest. That national interest is Russia's national interest. So it is since Russia is stating its own national interest that if NATO expansion happens, it threatens its security. It does not want NATO expansion, and that has resulted in conflict. Now, in this ethical, what ethical understanding can help? See, it's like ethical understanding is, the first thing is that the Western countries should have not, let's say that breached their promise. You should know that. They had promised that there will not be further NATO expansion. But even if they have promised, but they are not adhering to their promise, it is breach of contract. We will talk contractualism, we also will talk this. This is how it is breach of contract. If they have promised, so they should adhere it. देखो, यूक्रेन का solution यही है कि they will not expand, the Ukraine will not seek. The way they have been existing as of now for number of years, 30 years तो हो गया ना USSR का disintegration. तो 30 years में यूक्रेन ने कभी रशिया से इतना ज़्यादा कोई थ्रेट तो हुआ नहीं. रिसेंट क्रीमिया इशू हुआ है, that's all. So that can be more as a border disputes. Right. So the question is that let's say ethical understanding. Ethical is that you should honor what internationally you have agreed. This. Second is at the same time, let's say every country is a sovereign country. So when sovereign country, the country is free to, let's say, enter in relationship and agreement with any other such alliance. It is that country choice. That should not be a threat for your own security. You should not see in that way. Yes. Rather, you should have some other strategies. You cannot stop a country to become a member of any other alliance. Can you stop it? Right. This. So that is what ethical understanding will say from both sides. Plus war. A war which has no, its Outcome, immediate outcome. The war ethics we will introduce here. The war ethics also does not means they do not conform to war ethics standards. Yes, since they do not conform to war ethics standard, that's why let's say war ethics can also be introduced, which I have not taught yet. Right? Yes. War is ethical only when there are some conditions, that is called just war theory will teach you this. Otherwise, war is unethical. A war which cannot give you immediate good consequence outcome, that is not ethical war, because its cost is more than the outcome that you get. Yes. And there is no, you know that कि 2 साल हो गए शायद 2 साल हो गए, एक क्वेश्चन भी आ गया और अभी तक सॉल्व नहीं हुआ. एक और क्वेश्चन है यूक्रेन रशिया का, ऐसे ही, ये तो इनडायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन है. This question. Russia-Ukraine war has been going this, different countries, the stand is this, what country they have, what are the ethical issues involved. So we'll talk about war, then we'll talk it. Right. My approach to teach was this question, this 2020 वाला question. ये तो simple है, strength, peace, security are considered to be pillars of international. सिर्फ explain करना है, relevant example वगैरह लिख देना है, straightforward question. Now, the will to power exists, right? But it can be tamed and be guided by rationality and principles of moral duty. Examine this statement in the context of narrations. What do you mean by this? ये एक अच्छा conceptual question था. Right? The will to power exists. What does it mean? So we have to link with moral realism. The will to power exists means human is aspirational. Human is aspirational. Human is also, let's say, is selfish. You can say egotist, you can consider. So human has this tendency to gain power. This human is a political animal also. Second, state has will to get power. This, the state, any state is a natural tendency that it is willing to get power. Right. But that power should be tamed by normative theories called moral idealism. Yes, but it can be tamed. That we can give example at a global level. Global level, we have United Nations institutions, conventions, which work as taming the powers of those countries which can be harmful. Like even International Court of Justice that we have, others that we can consider. This is one aspect. The second aspect is that, let's say that moral idealism creates moral check. It creates moral check, you can consider. Like when Modi ji says it is not a time of war. Right, in case of Russian and Ukraine war, let's say that. Yes. So when he says it is not a time of war, it is a moral check. You can say this. So then various resolutions are brought. Resolutions, you know that. The United Nations, lots of resolutions are, even Israel-Palestine case will find this. So those resolutions work as moral check. Yes. That way we can. Plus, let's say कि normative aspect की human nature is also positive. That also you have to talk. This, so that way we can relate it, right?